All right, Cyber Traders, welcome on back here this Monday afternoon, April 17th, shortly after 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Great to see Ravina still here with us, as well as Mark, and a few more of us here inside our live trading room. Great to see all of us here. Otherwise, John, Michael, Phil, and the aforementioned Mark as well included. So with all of us that can hear me loud and clear, great to have all of us back inside our live trading room. Great to have all of us back on social if you're joining us there on Facebook Live, LinkedIn, Twitter, YouTube, the works, as I like to say. So without further ado, let's hop into it. Market's been very stagnant today across the whole day, albeit down, dropping a little bit here and there. It's been a really good start to us here inside our live trading room. Obviously, as you could see on the screen right now, CFRX, although still having a tough time off this 334, it gave us so much to work off of earlier. This would more than likely be the end of the ride anyway. When I say more than likely, well, hey, just after the last week that we've had here, you never know, right? So, this stock's already up 269% or however much it is. So, how much more could you really expect out of it? I normally wouldn't expect much at all from here. And if it tanks from this point as we're going throughout this meeting, then I'll definitely scrap it, and I wouldn't be surprised that it would tank. So, hey, if it holds here and holds here by the end of this meeting, then it'll give me just a little confidence perhaps to see one more final run. But as I just said before, it's having a tough time right now off resistance. Perhaps you could focus on the recent highs here, maybe around 340, but there wasn't really any respectable volume traded off of there so far throughout the day. It's really off of 330, and then there was an iceberg at 334 from earlier. So that's where I'm kind of choosing 334, and it's still having a tough time breaking higher. It's still very choppy, very jigsaw around the level here. So that's where you got to be careful. I'm going to put this on our side list at least to begin, and then I'll come back to it for sure at the end. I'll likely be covering this trade tomorrow, folks, for all of us inside our trading room here in our weekly workshop, Traders Talk. A lot of alliteration there with the T's. But if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me a quick email, josh at ctutrading.com. Any questions on this trade in particular, certainly feel free to let me know. Just if you do, send me over your trading journal, send me the Excel spreadsheet. You know what I'm talking about here, folks, like any of our students. So, we'll look to cover this trade likely from head to toe, from A to Z tomorrow inside our live workshop. But hey, this is like one of just a few different trades that popped massively for us today. The stock PRST Presto is probably myself and Fausto nicknaming Priest PRST. Just get a knack for kind of nicknaming these stocks just based off their lettering. Fausto taught me that a long while ago, and that's how he was taught back in his days in the brokerage business. So PRST, Presto, Priest, however you may want to call it, this ended up making another big move for us again. So, popped really nicely in pre-market. That's what led us to focus on the stock going into the open. When I say again, I meant more so from pre-market. Actually, truth be told, we've never really traded this stock before. It's like a relatively new IPO, I guess, from last year. You could just see on the daily chart, there's like little to no days where this stock was trading any good volume recently up until obviously this morning. So whatever news came out on it, if there was any, I honestly don't think that we ended up even seeing the news out at the time. It led to a nice pump up at first up towards 275, 280. Then after the market opened up, like I'd said, just made a slingshot, popped right away up over 280. The highs there up over 3, and off and away this thing went. So, based off the success that we had from last week, one thing that you'd like to think of is not even just us inside our live trading room and not even you on social media if you're joining us there, but like collectively, if you're seeing like GFAI, CXAI, regardless of it's being an AI stock or not. Hell, even this morning, although it completely dumped back down, the black box trade, just how much that stock is still up right now percentage wise. It was up that much more earlier in pre-market. So based off the last week, that's where you could think, all right, you know what, maybe there's a chance to see an even sharper run. If not coming up, then at some point throughout the morning. So, that's what happened on CFRX. That's what's happened here on the PRST trade. You can see on this one right now making lower highs. So, I'd be a little wary on both here for the meantime, the Priest and the CFRX trade. I'll put both on my side list here to begin. And then, hey, as we keep going, obviously, we kind of just showed black box, BLBX. That did not work out in our favor going into the open. Popped nice at first, but truth be told, we had called this out, but it moved so damn fast. Like, hey, like I know for a fact, because I looked in the chat, no one was taking advantage of the initial pop that this had because it was just so sudden. So from there, it ended up making a smaller bounce off support where, hey, you could have jumped in for 50 cents, a dollar or more. I know a few of us did from that point, but then the trend was down and it was pulling back lower. And by the time the market opened up, you didn't want to catch a falling knife, and look at where it's at now. So, yeah, I mean, hey, for the ones that have worked out so far for us, we took really good advantage of. But you got to make sure that you cut your losses here pretty quickly, whether it's on this or any of the others. Just when we take a trade, like Fausto talks about in phase three, you want to work off the 30-second rule, basically. And he'll talk to you more about that coming up in a few weeks' time with that. But another one, WINT, WINT. Hey, if anyone made money on this, congratulations. I really mean that. I always root everyone on. Uh, I did not trade this today because, again, it just made such a sudden pop that I thought I was going to be late to the party. So I just said, you know what? There's other trades out there. Let me go back to CFRX, make money on that. Let me go back to Priest, make money on that at the time. But hey, this one pumped up massively as well. A big run from like $4, $5, all the way up to near 20, topped off at 18.50 basically there. But you don't want to be on the receiving end of this drop. You don't want to be on the top of the roller coaster, ready to fall with it. So, yeah, obviously now we're gonna write this one off. And as we go, I'm kind of skimming my price column here. Another one that didn't work out well for us, the STSA trade led to a little bounce initially in pre-market, but otherwise, same deal with this as I just said on Wint. You don't want to catch the falling knife because if you tried, well, you're holding on for a little while here, aren't you? So the more this pulls back, perhaps we'll even see this break towards a dollar or fill the gap completely. Maybe over time we'll focus on this trade again. I mean, it looks like the stock had a big gap down from last year. So maybe over time this could make an eventual gap fill or continue to, but certainly not today. Don't ask me about tomorrow. I'll have to have this thing prove me that it's going to be a good viable trade for tomorrow morning in pre-market. All right, we keep going. GMDA, actually, here I did not notice this pop at the time at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Maybe Rich called it out then. Looks like it got halted, reopened up. Still showing some fair activity right now. I mean, really good liquidity on the book. Very cheap stock, obviously. We're not always catering to these like cheapy dollar stocks for anyone that's new to CTU. I just want to make sure that you realize that, but just the stocks that are up the most, more often than not, they're going to be stocks that are pretty much either low float, low volume, or just otherwise cheaper. It looks like you got that buyout on RXDX, but we're not trading buyouts. So, yeah, that's where I go back to the GMDA trade. Hey, you know what? Broke over a dollar. It's low risk right now in the sense of the spread with how slow it's moving. But hopefully, more eyes can catch on to this trade heading into the final hour, hour and a half here. And I don't mind by putting this on our main list just to start. We got to get one on there, right? I mean, I have two on the side list, and we had to at least put one on there so far. Toro, another one, perhaps that we could have put on our watch list if the volume totally didn't die off. Oh my goodness, are you kidding me here? Not even just on this instance going into noontime, but at 2 o'clock, tried breaking higher. Obviously, it failed, but hey, that's fine. I mean, maybe it will just kind of hold strong, move back up again, and hold trend pretty nicely. But when the volume peaks and then dies off like that, that is not a good look. That's not a good sign. So hey, unless if this pops back up later for us, that's one thing, but I'm not going to be as inclined to follow this one right now. I'll put it on our side list, but I'll definitely go back to the other two that are on there, like the Priest and the CFRX. Just give that one more look at least. This one's not making the cut, though. Drama, DRMA. We want a little drama here in this market going into the close. That's what we make money off of here, pretty much, right? Volatility, the action. RSLS had a nice pop earlier, but then died off. And I mean, hey, I even had called that out at some point going into the early afternoon. If it wasn't this pop, maybe it was pushing back up here, then the ugly shakedown. So, you just don't want to follow a stock that's too illiquid for the price. All right, we keep going here. Market's making a small, tiny bounce back up. CNSP, another loser from today. This one was more expected from my perspective. It was up so much from Friday, the end of last week, and I don't even recall us even following this stock from Friday. Maybe we did, maybe we didn't. I forget what I had for breakfast this morning. It's just that with it gapping up this much more in pre-market earlier, it was dropping off going into the market open. I mean, going into the 8 o'clock move, it was even down. And so, that's where you kind of add two and two together. You put it on your list in hopes of a pop, but I honestly was not as confident on this one compared to some of the others, and thankfully we avoided this one at least. Now, XPEV popped up from earlier. A lot of these Chinese stocks, just depending on the health of the market, will make a gap up, gap down. So it looks like China stocks ended up gapping up pretty nicely here. XPEV being one of them, obviously NIO being another. NIO had a much better pop or run earlier this morning after the opening bell. It's trying to eke back up right now, NIO, for about 5 or 6 cents, but it's not going to lure me in just yet. I have been off of NIO for the last 2 months. I mean, there's been plenty of other stocks out there that have been really good to us. So the AI trades in particular, BBAI, as I'm going to it right now, moving right back on up. This looks like a much better chart to me. So definitely, I'm more inclined to put this BBAI stock on our list. Let me just get to the rest of the other AI trades while I'm at it. Cut myself off there a bit. Let's see. SOUN up 9%. A little slow, but it's holding well. I mean, BBAI looks like the better trade of the two. AI in particular, I feel like this has had some weakness to it since that SEC complaint or notice or whatever the hell happened there from 2 weeks back. I'll put this on my side list here, the AI trade, but in particular, the BBAI, Big Bear AI there. BFRG is not looking good. MRAI, I know Manuel has been doing in and out on GFAI, I think. Oh, no, my apologies, Manuel. CXAI. I mean, there's so many of them. This one's down so much percentage-wise today that maybe there's a chance, like, hey, if the stars align for the AI trades altogether, with this down as much, maybe this is the beginning of a dead cat bounce. I just feel like the liquidity is so thin here. To me, it's just not worth putting on our main list just yet. But yeah, I mean, for the AI trades, if anything, this one, BBAI, looking probably the best so far. Maybe SOUN after that one. All right, so I'll tell you what. So far, we got 2 stocks on our main list, but I'm sure we'll find more. Just if there's anything else looking good on the way up, folks, type it in the chat board. Let me know. There should be, because number 50 is up like 13%. The LABU ETF. I know Fausto was big on this one earlier today. This is the biotech bullish ETF. So nice bounce back up for this trade. It's near the highs. I mean, heck, you normally don't hear me put this on our watch list or see me put this on our watch list. I'm going to do it today because if you think about trading BOIL ETF, if you have Bookmap, if you have level 4, that is, then it's going to give you an easier ability to follow the big money on level 4 if you're following it on there. So, yeah, I mean, I will put definitely the other one on our watch list there, Fausto's LABU. All right, so that was one more find. That was one more there. But if there's anything else looking good on the way up, folks, type it in the chat board now. Let me know here. I'm going to hop over to the losers side first. I mean, we talked about a few of these already. MRAI down big. I didn't even realize that was down even that much more than the other one. It's just not moving nearly as well. So we're going to pass on that. I don't know if there's any news that came out on that one, too, like a direct offering of shares or common stock offering. Very blatant shoot from the hip guess there. My assumption would be yes. I had a feeling that was going to happen at some point on these AI trades. Hell, wouldn't shock me tomorrow morning if CFRX or Priest has a stock offering. So Manuel confirms it right there for me. There we go. And folks, you certainly know, if you're a regular here, you know that I don't really look at Benzinga Pro for news too much. So I wasn't trying to like make myself stand out. That's typically like what happens after a stock is up God knows how much percent. But the thing is that you don't know when, you don't know what time. Whenever that news hits, though, whew, it is a bad look. It obviously dilutes the stock price anytime there's direct offering news or common stock offering news. Don't be surprised. Tomorrow morning, you wake up, Priest down like 42% on direct offering of shares, whatever it may be. All right. Now, maybe just because of that one, maybe the others went with it in sympathy, or just naturally what goes up comes back down. That, of course, happens too. So that's where we tell you, these are not swing trade recommendations unless if it's directly said from Fausto or myself that it could be a swing trade overnighter opportunity. But we're trying to be in and out same day. If they move up higher next day, then cool. Make money on it again the next day, then potentially, or I'll follow another stock that I could. Roblox, I know Fausto talked about this earlier this morning. For as much as this stock got crushed, you would have expected at least a better move. Man, what a waste of time for like a $40 stock. You would have expected maybe a better dead cat bounce up to 42, 42.50, maybe 43, then a pullback, or just lower highs, then the eventual break lower later on. Haven't gotten any of that. So, I didn't follow this stock, but if you did, then I feel bad for you. You waste a lot of time, unfortunately. STT, you could definitely say the same on. Certainly since the morning. Moderna, obviously same there. Pretty expensive. All right. So, folks, let me know if there's anything else looking good. VIV here, just shortable, but not really going anywhere as well. Just to wrap up the loser side here. That's pretty much it. That's all I got from the loser side. So, yep, if there's anything else, folks, from the chat board on social, inside our live trading room, just let me know. John on Mara, which I ended up taking a bite on John just before, but I ended up getting stopped out break even. So slow normally, or so it's so slow today. Normally, we've seen it trade better. So it's just more of a thing where you don't want it to waste your time. That's all. So take the dime and run. Um, That's all I got here inside our live trading room. Mike saying DBGI, which I know he was following from last week, but it wasn't really trading good volume then. Today it's up 21%. I don't know where I missed this. Maybe it was climbing up as I was going from top to bottom just now. That likely was the case with this recent move. But you know what? It has good spread for right now, Mike, and that's the thing that I like the most about it. When I said it was trading light volume back from the end of last week, it was in relation to the spread, but it also just low volume total. Same to be said here. Right now, it's only trading 301,000 shares, but a lot of that and most of this move has been based off the last 5 or 10 minutes. So it's a pretty good shout. And normally, where I wouldn't put a stock that's this low volume on our watch list here, you're expecting for more eyes to catch on to this trade. So now at 2:30, 2:48 Eastern time here, I would imagine coming up by 3 o'clock, they should be trading 500,000 shares, if not more. If not, then we'll kind of move forward from it. But it's an interesting look here right now, Mike. I'll give it a look here. All right. Then for all of us on social media, Facebook Live, YouTube, the works. Hey, I think that's all we got for right now. So if there's any questions that you have, feel free to shoot me a quick email. Josh at c2trading.com is the handle. If you're interested in joining us inside our live trading room, though, especially for tomorrow's live workshop, Traders Talk, recently we've been posting like 1 or 2 little clips on our YouTube page. But if you wanted to get the full hour-plus long workshop each and every week, especially tomorrow, just go right down to the link on the green banner below the stream right there to get yourself set up, to get yourself started. But for Richard, for Chuck, for Leda, John, etc., all of us right now, here, let me just check Benzinga Pro lastly. I failed to do that, actually, so pardon me there. Not trying to rush off. Let me just check Benzinga Pro here, a little oversight. So before we wrap up, you got PRST, you got PKST. What's this? That's too funny. No way that this stock is pumping up in sympathy just because of the name. Hey, dyslexic traders unite. So let's take a quick look at PKST here. Is it even worth our time? No, it's not worth our time. It pumped up earlier, actually. So it made that run actually with the other one earlier. That's too funny, though, because you had the PRST and then PKST. But this one obviously now has ran its course. It's done. But hey, as I turn back to PRST, I actually didn't go back to my side list here. So as I do that before I wrap up, PRST definitely going to put back on our list with this recent run back up. CFRX, not as much, at least just yet. It's pretty much ready to snap lower and tank, failed to break higher, at least off that 334. So I'm not going to put this on our main list. Let me go back to the last couple here. Toro, not going anywhere so far. AI, still not really fully keen on it. The other AI trades better. And then the other AI stock that we were kind of considering, SOUN, it's still pushing back up a little bit, but this one's pretty slow, right? So, I'll add this to our list. It'll be at the bottom. It looks good. If you're more of like a level 1, level 2 trader, new student, this and the BBAI both could be good. But the other one, the BBAI, is like a little bit more bang for the buck, I feel. So, all right, folks. So, hey, best of luck trading going into the market close. I will be in the chat board up until 3:30. I'll see you all there. Take care.